Fukushima Prefecture Livestock Market. Mr. Ichiro Sato, a Wagyu cattle breeder in Itate Village, is bringing in his 300-kilogram calf. There's a livestock market in Motomiya City, the only Wagyu cattle auction held in a livestock market in Fukushima. Before the disaster, there were 4 auction sites in the prefecture, but 3 of them were closed and integrated into one in Motomiya due to the nuclear accident. 7 years have passed since the nuclear accident, but groundless rumors still persist. Nevertheless, the market is vibrant. Okura District, Itate Village, Fukushima Prefecture. This is the cowshed where Mr. Ichiro Sato is breeding Wagyu cattle.
牛の村だったんで、もう一度牛で復興といいますか、再起をかけたいとは思ってました。
Itate Village, the place where all villagers evacuated for 6 years due to the nuclear accident, used to be one of the foremost Wagyu cattle production sites in the Tohoku region. The Itate beef brand had been known as a high-grade Wagyu beef. There used to be 230 cattle farmers in the village. The complete evacuation made almost all cattle farmers stop their business. The Itate beef brand was discontinued. Mr. Sato had continued his Wagyu cattle breeding business in Soma City, where he evacuated to. But he started taking actions to resume his business in his hometown as the evacuation order was lifted.
少しは妻から反対も受けましたけども、もう帰んなくては飯舘村なくなってしまうでしょうと、そんな話もしたところ、納得もしてもらいました。
The Itate beef brand is special to villagers, especially to those engaged in the livestock industry. When Mr. Sato decided to return to the village, he was also moved by his strong affection toward Itate beef.
せっかく作り上げたブランドがなくなってしまったといいますか、それでもって飯舘は村おこしをしてきたのであって、それを捨てるといいますか、それはできなかったですね。どうしてもやるんだって、ただほんの一心です。
結構牛入りましたね。
This is Mr. Hiroki Amano, who lives in Soma City. Mr. Sato met Mr. Amano when he took refuge. They belong to the same cattle farmers group. In fact, Mr. Amano is preparing to move to Itate with his family to set up a cattle raising business.
まだまだ勉強だと思ってるんで、それをやっぱり一郎さんとか先輩方に教えてもらいながら、なおかつ飯舘の復興っていうところに外から来たものなんですけども、力になっていければいいかなとは思ってます。
A cattle grazing verification test is about to begin at a site where there used to be rice paddies. Mr. Takeshi Yamada, a Wagyu cattle breeder, grazes cattle. 6 cattle will be set out to graze on 2 hectares of grassy farmlands.
これしかないなっていう感じはしてましたね。米もダメだろう、野菜はもちろんダメだろうっていう感じで残るのは牛だけかなと。牛の力を借りながら広い田んぼを荒らさずに利用できるのは畜産なのかなと思ったりも、もう避難する前からそう思ってましたから。
The cattle grazing verification test was also conducted in a common land district. In this grazing land, cattle blood samples are taken monthly to be analyzed to determine the changes before and after grazing. The test is conducted by the Livestock Research Center of Fukushima Agricultural Technology Center.
.血液を採取しまして、放射性セシウム濃度と、ミネラル成分を分析しております。で、血液の放射性セシウム濃度を測ることによってお肉の、放射性セシウム濃度を推定することができますので、その参考にしているということと、ミネラル成分につきましては健康管理というか、牛が健康に放牧されているかどうかということを確認するために、分析を行っているということでございます。
Beside cattle blood, grass soil and water are collected from different points mainly to analyze cesium concentration. In Itate village, all farmlands have been decontaminated. Therefore, the verification test significance is to obtain detailed data and inspect safety, which gives trustworthiness to farmers and eventually to customers. Mr. Yamada is engaged in a breeding business in Ino Town, about 10 kilometers away from Itate village. After completing the cattle grazing verification test, he will move his breeding business to Itate village, while starting a fattening business which grows calves into beef cattle in Ino Town. He will promote his business together with his son Yutaka, his successor.
もうこの際飯田にそもそももうゼロからの出発だからゼロっていうんだかマイナスからっていうんだかこの震災後の正真正銘の本当の飯田乳のブランドを作ったらいいんじゃないかなと思うんです。今までは子牛が飯田で村で生まれたものでなくちゃダメだっていうような縛りはなかったもんですからそれを今度飯田で村の中で生まれた子牛の肥育の結果が E の4、E の5っていうのがまさに幻の飯田乳になってなかなか食べられないんだっていうくらいの希少価値が出るような飯田乳っていうこのブランドを作った方が目指した方がいいんじゃないかなと思ってるんです。
Mr. Yamada is looking for a way to revive Itate beef by developing an integrated cattle business through grass cultivation, breeding, and fattening. On the other hand, there are people who have continued raising cattle in the regions they evacuated to and have made them their second hometown. Mr. Masao Kobayashi operates his cattle breeding and fattening business in Sanmu City, Chiba Prefecture. He is the only farmer who had raised Itate brand beef and also brought pedigree cows from Itate. When the nuclear accident occurred, he moved quicker than anybody else to evacuate the cattle.
まず牛たちを避難させることができたってことですよね。良かったのはね、時間がない中で秋牛舎さえあればどこでも避難させようと思ってたんで、やっぱり牛を救えたことが一番の今は喜びです。
Mr. Kobayashi names the cattle he raises Madei cattle when they're shipped. Madei is an Itate dialect word that means carefully and wholeheartedly. Because of his affection for Itate, Madei beef has become so popular these days that there are even loyal customers. This is Mr. Sadanori Harada. Mr. Harada conducts the cattle breeding business in Nakajima village in the southern part of Fukushima Prefecture. He shares the work with his wife. Mrs. Kimiko, his wife, is in charge of calves. She raises calves with love and care.
なんでこんな風になったのかなってたまに考えることはあるんですよやっぱり。でもまあ飯舘で復興される方には頑張ってもらいたいと思いますけども、やっぱり損害でもやっぱり復興は復興だと思うんです。一生懸命やってれば。だからまあ飯舘の復興のために頑張ってもらいたいと思いますけども、こっちはこっちでやっぱり損害は出ても精一杯やるのが復興だと思ってます。私はこちらで頑張ります。
There are people who have settled down in their new lands and have been making an effort there to remember their hometown, Itate Village. They are also challengers who share their wish to reconstruct the village with people who have returned there. Livestock business used to be the main industry of the village. The revival of Itate beef, which used to be the symbol of the industry, can exert a great power to accelerate the village's reconstruction. The goal is still a long way ahead, with many challenges on the way. Nevertheless, it has already begun. The challenge for cattle farmers continues towards the revival of Itate beef.